Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Gerard Waters.
How's it going?
How are you?
Good, looking for a doctor.
What?
Quite sick of the system.
Certain doctors in the country refuse to go along with the hoax of COVID.
Yeah.
COVID was a hoax. I know, because I was a doctor. I've been a doctor since 1977. I was a GP for 40 years, and COVID was a hoax.
What do you mean by hoax?
It was a pathogenic hoax. There was never a virus there worthy of the lockdowns, the maskings.
Oh, that element.
Well, not on that element of it, but it was never ever worthy of doing what they did. And the diagnosis of COVID was based on a PCR test, and the PCR test was a con and a hoax as well. In other words, that thing that stuck up your nose never diagnosed the presence of a virus in your system. It just didn't. Every expert in the world now accepts that.
Okay.
Every expert in the world accepts. So in effect, there was never ever a reason for the COVID pandemic. And that's from a doctor, a GP of 40 years standing.
Okay, so what did they do to you when you spoke out?
These people in here suspended my licence 4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
They deprived me of all my income.
The Irish Medical Council.
The Irish Medical Council suspended my licence and took me to the High Court, who took my licence off me officially. And then in 4 months ago, they decided they were going to drop all charges against me on the grounds of insufficient evidence.
So they've dropped the charge?
They've dropped the charges. I'm waiting to get my licence back, but these malevolent people inside this door refuse.
They've been pushing on for like 4 or 5 years now.
4.5 years now, pushing on. From March 2021, they took me before the High Court with 2 days' notice. Now they claim they can't get an appointment after 8 weeks with the High Court. They are malevolent, they are evil, and they are wrong in every facet of the COVID pandemic. Every facet.
Well, from a citizen's perspective, like we've lost doctors, nurses.
Well, you've lost doctors because of the Medical Council. The Medical Council, in effect.
And that is evil.
What?
And that is evil.
It is evil, but they did it deliberately. They did it deliberately, or rather, they did it out of sheer stupidity and laziness. You know?
The Irish people do to support you and other doctors like you. He said, well, you know, I'll be at the Irish Medical Council on the 10th of June. He said, you said you'll be there, so let's put a call out and see who else shows up. And I have to say, there's a fantastic crowd. It's absolutely brilliant. Over the past 5 years, I have worked with many of these doctors on various projects, including videos on vaccines and harms of masking our children. There is also a series of public meetings where many people attended to hear them speak openly about the effects of lockdowns, masks and vaccines. People of Ireland deserve a full, open and transparent COVID inquiry, where those responsible take full accountability for their actions and are dealt with accordingly. When trust to science turned into suddenly and unexpected, alarm bells should have been raised by those who mandated the COVID response nationally.
Is that any better?
Yes!
Apologies for that. Most of the time people really don't want to listen to me bang on. Look, I'll try and keep this brief, but yeah, first I'd like to say thank you to everybody for coming out today. Many, if not most of the people here were aware that something terrible was happening back in 2020, and many of the people here have reached out to me and offered me support and offered me certainty. I suppose it's about credibility, you know. I mean, I'm here today because this institution behind me took away my credibility 5 years ago, and they took away the credibility of any doctor who tried to warn people, who tried to offer an alternative treatment for people who were in the nursing homes, who tried to actually treat people who were dying. This institution behind me is supposed to be in the service of the public, it's supposed to be protecting the public, but in reality it's actually a policeman for the government. Yeah. And that ostracizing or that kind of marginalization was conducted again by this institution behind me, by the Irish Medical Council. And I think that they have a serious case to answer for what they've done to me and what they've done to some of my a lot of people have shaken my hand today and have reminded me that I'm courageous, and with all due respect, this is not about me, and I'm not here really, and I'm not that courageous, to be honest with you. But the courageous people, I think, are people like Dr Gerard Waters, who actually went further than what I could do. I have a family and a mortgage to pay, so although I could resign from my practice and not give the vaccine when I became a locum, or I went to work in the out of hours, I was granted the liberty not to administer the vaccine. Dr Gerard Waters was suspended for refusing to give it because he couldn't break the oath that he took when he graduated from graduate. I'd like to remind people that there are some good people in Irish medicine, you know. But we've been kind of picked off one by one. This institution behind me has conducted what a word I came across, that somebody told me, the word called lawfare, which is where an institution uses its legal might and its infinite budget to attack people like myself and the other doctors whose medical insurance were not provided with legal assistance or legal advice, because we haven't harmed any patient, we haven't hurt anybody. We're here and we're under prosecution because we've disagreed with the narrative and disagreed with COVID policy. So I should be in there today facing my hearing, but a couple of weeks before this hearing, the medical council contacted me and asked me if I was willing to make a deal. And I suppose a lot of you know what's coming. So they offered to make a deal, and I tell you what the deal was. The deal was that they would drop the prosecution against me, and I could carry on with my life as normal, on the condition that I sign a legal undertaking to no longer speak about COVID-19 vaccines, about government policy, or about the deaths in the nursing homes. Look, in all honesty, I wasn't terribly tempted to sign, but it did cross my mind. And I have to say, the other doctors, Jerry and Pat, put their doctors' hats on, and Billy, my colleague, they all said to me, look, you know, signing this and getting out means that you're home and dry and you're free, you know. But there's something bigger going on here, and I think most people here today know that there's something bigger going on, and most people not here today know that there's something bigger going on. So what happens today is something that's going to build and grow into a demand for a full, open public inquiry, not the whitewash and the farce that we've been given, but a demand for the truth. So whilst this institution might have taken away my credibility, they certainly are not going to take away my voice. And they're not going to take away our voice. And they're not going to take away the voices of the people who were abandoned by the state in the Irish nursing homes. The thousands of elderly, vulnerable people who were denied testing, denied treatment. The only guidelines we were given to help those people was end-of-life care, midazolam, let them die. Comfort care.
Kill them.
And I was thinking to myself in terms of what am I going to talk about, you know, but it struck me that if you were going to write a fiction, if you were going to write a story on how to murder thousands of vulnerable people in the nursing home sector, well, if you wanted to write that fiction, if you want the script, just go to the government, go to Simon Harris, go to Micheál Martin, because they wrote the script for the deaths of those people. And the time for accountability is now, and we're not going away, and we're not going to stay quiet, and everybody here today, and everybody at home who understands where we're coming from, reminds me and reminds my colleagues that they actually haven't taken away my credibility. My credibility is here, it's with you, and I thank you for coming out today. Thank you very much.
Building Dr De Brun mentioned it, you know, what it's supposed to be and what it is. And I see it's in a cul-de-sac, so there's no way out really. Look, we can talk forever. The terror and the horror that went on. And the fact that, you know, the medical council, the government through the medical council, got into the doctor's practice and got between the doctor and a very valuable, very respected, very related doctor's relationship.
I would like to say thank you. Thank you for putting the needs of your patients first and standing up and speaking out when so many in your profession were silent. We don't have the time here today to hear all of the GPs speak, but I want to take this opportunity to name each of them individually. They are Dr Marcus De Brun, Dr Vincent Carroll, Dr Martin Feely, RIP, Dr Kirsten Fuller McCarthy, Dr Anne McCluskey, Dr Michael McConville, Dr Pat Morrissey, Dr Billy Ralph, Dr Gerry Waters, and Dr Neville Wilson. And Dr Andrew Wynne. We've already done it.